The project idea that started when I graduated university. The idea came in when I was obsessed with a lot of battle royale games at the time. One of the things that I like to do when I play those games is play it stealthily, where I try to hide from other players and sneak up and shoot them in the back or something. The problem was, when it comes to those battle royale games, they're really action oriented. You can't play it stealthily. Why? Because the ring closes in the later phase of the game, and by that time, if you don't have good gears, then most likely you're gonna die. And if you play stealthily, you rarely get the good gears. That's where it dawned on me, like, hey, can I make a game where the whole premise is it captures that feeling of a battle royale game, but played completely stealthily. That's where the first idea for which one came in. Called up my friends, whoever I knew around me that knew how to use Unity. An old friend of mine actually from elementary, he studied game programming. We drew like a bunch of concept and had a bunch of ideas of how to design this game and cooked up a very simple prototype for the game. The idea was you had a dynamic field of view and you can only detect other players that are within that field of view, and you're trying to outsmart each other using environmental objects in the game. Also called up another friend of mine who was into composing music. That's how the project started, and I wrote down the entire game's concept as a game design document, uploaded to Reddit, and it got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people emailed me who wanted to work. We met our lead designer, Jennifer. Amazing artwork. The moment I saw her artwork, like, this is how I envisioned the game to look like, with all the characters and environment just fits so perfectly. That's how our team expanded. It was started out as a simple side project, a hobby, under a rev share model. So we only pay each other after the game actually sells. I'm not gonna say that we had a very clear vision from the beginning. We had a clear idea and inspiration, but we didn't really think about how everything would feel together. We were really enjoying, and everyone was passionate about what they're doing, because we all wanted to have a career in the gaming industry. But the thing is, I guess in reality, it's not that easy to have a full career in the gaming industry. During that time, I was working on several different projects just to make a living, to sustain my lifestyle, but also for the project as well. I was able to get enough capital, and then last year, that's when I decided that, yeah, I made enough savings for this project, so I decided to quit my job, go full-time into game development, and compensate all the members, which really helped with not only the motivation, but also the development pacing. And during that time, a lot of concept changed. Initially, we wanted to make it as a 3D environment with a fixed perspective, 2.5D gameplay. It changed over time. We added different concepts, mechanics like items. Ultimately, we just completely changed the game to 2D because it was just easier to create the assets than it was for 3D. That's where we are right now. We're testing out different mechanics. The biggest problem was balancing and designing the mechanics around it. Like, how can you actually make people feel like they outsmarted each other? It's easier to balance a stealth or a strategic, tactical action games, let's put it that way, for offline games. For multiplayer games, it was quite challenging, and that's why we were trying to think of a different, let's say, pivot mechanics to see how can we make the players feel like they are empowered to outsmart other players. One idea was to add in crowd blending systems, so we add a bunch of like dummy NPCs and let the players sort of hide within the crowd. That's like dynamic. Until then, we had fixed hiding spots. Crouch behind a tree or a bush and you're hidden there, which is fine, but it's very boring. It's literally just camping and no dynamic gameplay at all. By adding NPCs, you have to move around and you're still like on edge because you don't know who is the player. And the other idea was to add more environmental objects. Use your environment or the game environment as a weapon. So if you realize that that other player is standing in a location that you know could be a trap, can I trigger that remotely? Can I have more of a tactical combat approach where it's not really about hiding, but it's about attacking with the specific timing? Both of them are not mutually exclusive either. Like, we can definitely mix them together, but one of the things that I learned a lot while working on this game with our team member is how to really convey the core fun factor. And I think so far it's going really well. Like, everything is coming together. The only thing that's not coming together is my sanity, let's just say, while building this game, because it's been going on for way too long. But I don't regret anything, because even while I was working in various different startups and other projects, I never really felt like as alive as I am right now. It's a huge risk, huge endeavor, but absolutely no regret at all. I really trust that which one is going to be really great. It's an amazing game with a unique twist. Anyone who has that specific itch where you want to play a competitive stealth game or tactical action game that allows you to outsmart other players. We don't really have that a lot, and people want that, and we're here to deliver that.